Well, hello guys, welcome back. I had somebody comment, it was a good comment, that sometimes they watch this channel and they enjoy watching the channel, but Loki's so childlike with me, they can't really relate. If you want to see Loki be more serious, go back a couple years. That was when I was going through a really dark period of my life, and Loki was nothing but serious, so if you like dark and brooding and serious, you can go find abundance of that for a couple years. And I'm not saying that to be mean, but at that time he was extremely serious. He never smiled or made me laugh. He wasn't even capable of making me laugh. And I was going through a very dark period of my life, and I said it was usually like Loki chaining you up to a back of a car on a gravel road and driving down the gravel road, and you're screaming and howling and begging him to stop, and he's laughing and going, "Ah, eat some gravel." It was like that. It was extremely painful. And there are still periods of time, even now, that he can get more serious like that, and some of the lessons are painful. And it's been a thing of discernment of me thinking, do I talk about this on the channel? Is this useful to people? Or is this just me having to go through old lessons that I learn them, and then I somehow have a magical ability to unlearn them? And Loki's like, well, I'll tie you to the car again, and I'll drag you again, and you're going to figure this out eventually, because you're going to figure out it really sucks to be dragged behind the car. And you know me, I'm kind of foolish. I figure, well, if he drags me enough, all the gravel will disappear, right? And or my body will go numb or something. He'll find something else to do. He will. He will. Um, he can be still more serious. It's something I don't talk about a lot because it'll be like an aside while we can be playing around. He'll then show up suddenly more serious, and he'll say he'll either support something Odin said, or will support Freya or Freyr, or he'll support something else, and he'll say, well, this is what you should do, and you know the right thing to do. And one of the problems we have is sometimes he will tell me something, probably knowing I will take it the wrong way, and let me head off in the wrong direction, and then he'll go, that's not what I meant. I'll say, how did I know what you meant? Because you said something I could have taken any way. Like he said he gave me my eye and my gods back. And what did I think he meant? I thought he meant every god everywhere. No, he meant Norse gods back, and he let me toddle around while I was in a lot of pain. He was fine with me toddling around, but I could feel him watching me with his arms crossed, and that's never a good sign. When he starts crossing his arms like this, you're like, oh, he's not happy. And he's been showing up a lot like that lately with me, so I know he's displeased. And he's crossing his arms and he's watching me toddle around. And he says, where do you think you're going? Well, you said I could go over here. No, I said I gave you all your gods back. Well, yeah, that's all the gods. What did I say? And I had to be the one to figure it out at my own pace, because sometimes Loki won't give you the answer. He'll make you find the answer on your own, and then you can run back up to him and say, is this the answer? And if it's important enough, he'll say, yeah, that's what you were supposed to figure out. But he won't just hand it to you, because as he tells me, I don't listen worth a damn. So there's no reason for him to just hand me the answer, because I won't listen. And you guys know I have been struggling since I was brought up, Roman Catholic, and we live in a world now with interwebs, and you can see every god and goddess ever being worshipped and hear testimonials about how wonderful they are, and you can think they're calling to you and everything. The only thing I've figured out is that vaguely, sometimes, for reasons known only to them, Loki and Odin may open the territory and let other gods wander through for a tiny bit of time. And then they know that they're just passing through, and they know to go away and to stop answering me. And the Norse gods will take back over. That, or it's just the Norse gods playing other gods and goddesses. Because I noticed the Morrigan was around for a while, for example, and then the Morrigan just disappeared and never came back. And I would think anything, if the Morrigan were actually here and Odin were actually here, it would just be a knockdown, drag-out fight, and Loki and I would be sitting there watching it go, wow. But, I don't know. I think it's something the gods work out between themselves, as to, like, who you serve and that, and they're never going to tell us about it, because we're the human. And he has been a lot more serious lately. It's just, you guys know I have depression and anxiety, so being more cheerful helps. It helps when he's playful. It helps when he jumps In fact, I've only just gotten to meet that friendly make you laugh part because I was going through the asphyxia and everything, and I hadn't had much reason to laugh or smile. So we've both been reveling in it, and we've both been reveling in the kitties. And Kitty never did wake up, and we tried everything. I tried taking her upstairs because I thought if I bait Loki, if I bait him, and have this cat near me, he's got to make her meow because Loki, jump scare, loves it. Never did. We did everything we could. I wrote to the company. They're probably never going to get back. I said, I know I bought it as is. And I made it clear I wasn't asking for a replacement or anything, but I said, is there a hidden reset switch on this thing? Because I think they're the same company that made Furbies, right? So those had a hidden reset switch on them so that you could repower them. And I'm thinking there's got to be one, because if you would be taking this thing around to trade shows and everything, you'd have to be able to reset this thing. And I tried some of the Furby tricks. Like there was one generation where you pulled the tongue, you held the mouth open, and nothing yet. I've tried WD-40, I've tried the air compressor, I've tried everything. This cat's just kind of dead. The only thing now that would work would be Loki or Odin. And they're being pretty sympathetic. They are being serious about it. I don't know why they're doing that, though. I don't know why it's now a more important thing. I just work with Norse gods. At one time, I told them that's why I'm confused. At one time, it seemed like we had this huge, vibrant family of gods from all over. And if I'm really sick or upset or nervous, it seems like that comes back in a flood. But I said, at the same time, too, it seems like once things get better and things calm down, the only gods wanting to be around me are the Norse gods, and the other gods, it's almost like I'm dragging them towards me. Like, I don't think God stopped loving us, but I think once they're done with us, so to speak, they're done with their part of the lesson or something. I don't know. I wish I knew why gods work like this, because it's like I tried to work with Bastet, and it was like friendly enough, but it was really like she almost seemed sad and miserable, like she was being dragged towards me. And I'd read my horoscope, even though Loki has a very, with me, a very dim view of horoscopes, because he says you take those things and you jump to conclusions. And it said I would work something out once and for all. So I'm hoping we work this out. But yeah, he actually has been pretty serious about that. We've been having a lot of fun, but we've been serious about that too. It's just, they know I'm a Gemini, and Geminis want to have everything. And we get bored extremely easily. I don't care if there were 2,000 Norse gods, and I could meet them all, and there probably are. But, you know, I just like to be able to free roam. If I want to go to Egypt today, or I want to go to Babylonia the next day or something, I want to be able to do that. And I don't ever do it. I don't ever really roam. I just want to have the option there. And I've tried reasoning with Loki, and I've tried reasoning with Odin. I said, I will just worship, you know, all Norse gods. Just let me have the door open. Let me just be able to at least have a door open. And Odin's like, how about a vague window? You can kind of look out. And he said, if you would be paying attention to your Norse gods, you wouldn't have time to be roaming around. I said, yeah, but, you know, Norse gods, I pay attention to them, and then they kind of go and walk about. Freya and Freya both appeared in a dream this morning. And Loki was real hyper and excited and trying to get me to pay attention to Freya, because that's been his thing lately, trying to get me to pay attention to Freya. And I do, and we seem to work okay, but like I said, sometimes they seem really warm and loving, and sometimes I swear Odin is standing behind them with Gungnir in the small of their back, prodding them forward. So I said, it's weird. We're still trying to, and we've known each other for years at this point with, you know, Freya and Freya. Sometimes we get along really well, and sometimes it's like they have a spear point poking them in the back, prodding them forward. So I said, you know, there's just some kind of miscommunication going on, and Loki is the god of communication. So I've asked him that if he wants this Old North household to, you know, please work at it. And again, guys, you know how my reality is. As soon as I totally accept and I surrender and everything, and we have an all Norse household, there will be 80 gods I haven't seen in 20 years in my house, all looking for offerings, all digging through stuff, and I'll just be having a nervous breakdown and going on camera. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. But yeah, guys, don't, you know, watch a channel and think that's the way Loki has to be with you. He can be very serious with me. He can be very funny and silly with me. He can decide he's going to be a fox today, or a cat today, or a whatever he wants to do today. Um, he can decide he wants to be goddess form because, we haven't done that for a long time, but lately he's been doing goddess form. So she has been doing goddess form, I should say. She has shown up as a mare, which was interesting. And it goes back and forth. I think it's just a thing of we have so little left of the history of the Norse gods that a lot of stuff I think sounds right since I can't go back and corroborate it. Remember, I was raised Roman Catholic, and you get used to having this big thick book to go look at, and all these scholarly works and everything to go look at. It's hard, and usually the default mode for most people that want to be Norse scholars is to, okay, I'm going to look at this, but there's just not enough here, so I'm going to hop on over to India, or I'm going to hop on over to Scotland or something, and I'm going to find a similar story that has a lot more detail, and that's how I'm going to do the research. Originally, if you were brought up doing Christian research, that's naughty. There was only one source you went to. You didn't then go study the gods of Assyria or something to corroborate it. You could, for reference, say, well, we know all the gods were worshipped the same way, say, in the desert area, but you did not go look at the worship of, say, a different god and say, well, yes, this has to be how this god was worshipped. That was a no-no. So it's kind of, I think they know I'm having that difficulty still adjusting that, it's... Wiccans get accused of it. Wiccans are told, well, that's why you're such a sloppy, backwards religion, because you run everywhere and grab everything, and you say this thing is like this thing, so they must both be the same thing, or this is how I'm bolstering this because I'm taking this from over here, and they're two different cultures. Well, we kind of have to do that with the Norse pantheon, because we just don't have enough left. The best analogy I saw for it is like we have this giant ship, and we don't even have the entire framework left. Like, all the boards and everything, the frames, the masts, everything are gone. And we just have like these little shards of the ship left. And that's all we have left. We have no idea what the complete religion looked like. So we might only have parodies, in a sense, of these gods left. Loki is probably to the extreme, so is Odin, so is everyone else. Because you have to remember, by the time the stories were written down, you had a couple hundred years of Christianity. And we can see in our own lives how if you grew up Christian, you're coming to Norse gods, you're in a Christian culture, it's kind of hard not to default to how you were brought up. It's not that you don't understand the principles and the lessons Loki's teaching you. You just kind of find it kind of hard not to default to the culture around you and go, well, something, 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 something. So it's been an experience, and Loki can definitely be more serious. I usually try to keep the channel pretty light because I think there's enough bad stuff and depressing news in the world. And world leaders. Shall we all have a moment of silence for the time when we vaguely had good world leaders, like, I don't know, King Arthur or something? And I'm like, there's so much downer stuff in the world. That's why I usually try to keep the channel pretty light and pretty funny. And usually Loki does go out of his way lately to entertain me. I'm hearing the chicken song because we actually, guys, you should be so proud of us. We haven't been out for fast food in 3-4 days now. It's like amazing. It's like I did stop yesterday. Full disclosure, I did stop. I was thinking getting him chicken. It was too damn long a line. And I thought, well, nah, okay. So maybe I will take him out for chickens. Maybe I won't. We'll see. But I just wanted to share with you guys, if you're getting a totally different Loki, it's probably how Loki wants to be with you. I would say go with what you're experiencing. Don't worry about if he and I are having fun and yours is serious, or mine's suddenly serious and dark and depressed, and yours is light and silly and running around. There are a lot of different paths for every god and a lot of different moods. Just go with what you're experiencing and trust it. If it's Loki, he will let you know it's Loki. I'm sure it's Loki. It's just he's different with everyone. Some people he's really serious. Some people he's really chaotic and crazy because you need a lot of stuff cleared out of your life. Some people he comes in and their life turns into a string of disasters, because if Loki comes into your life, the first thing he will do is decide he needs to dig his little foxhole. And that means clearing out all the junk in your life he thinks you don't need in your life. Which is why Lokeans will warn people, if he just randomly shows up, there was no way for you to prepare. But the moment you realize Loki is in your life, you better suck it up, Buttercup, and start confessing to a lot of stuff you've been hiding, because he's going to drag it out into the open anyways. So if you did not tell somebody about that panty collection you have from Japan, and you don't want them finding out, this will be the day your roommate or beloved's cat decides they can open your drawer and will be prancing around the apartment with panties on their head, and don't put it past Loki. He will find the most unlikely way for stuff to be uncovered. He just will. If you have been doing dishonest stuff at work, you will get found out. If you have been doing other stuff, you will get found out. For a god that has this, these stories and this reputation of people will say, oh, he always does the wrong thing. He will make you do the right thing. He will make you do the right thing. Remember, there's a huge difference between being a god and him doing everything he does actually leads people for change, which is why he does it, which is why we have chaos gods. And us just doing stuff we know is wrong. If you feel you have to hide it, you better unhide it. Just suck it up and unhide it once he comes into your life, because that's going to be a lot less painful. So I hope that helps you guys, and if you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.